Ladies and gentlemen, this is Internet Personality Vangelis, with no fear and no pain, presenting to you a video review of SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Kuuga in mighty form. Whether or not you want this to represent Godai Yusuke or Onodera Yusuke, this is a very solid Kuuga release, and I believe it was actually marketed to be Onodera, so let's just pretend that's him for now, but you know, twice as useful. The Kuuga sculpt, they really got their mileage out of this, but I'll be going into that in later videos. The Kuuga sculpt is really well done here, and the big thing to point out is how there are Grongi letters etched into all kinds of parts of the armor, and I'm sure someone out there with a dictionary can translate all this for me. Just, you know, provide it to me in the comments. I'm sure you can do it in a couple minutes. It'll be pretty simple to do. I think that fellow YouTube reviewer Shukuen Shinobi put out a call like that in his own Kuuga video reviews. So get to work! Kuuga also has some gorgeous compound eyes, as I often like to highlight. And I really like the red on this because it's like not just a cherry red or a heartfelt blood red. It's like a burning courage red, and the sort of reddish gold around it really brings that out. And his arcle as well is heavily detailed. All the little buttons on this have been painted in, and there's the red lens effect over the kind of Ichigo-ish fan on the inside, some more Grongi lettering. Kuuga turns out really well, and I think that what accentuates a lot of his great detail, including his Bandai China tramp stamp, would be the fact that from the waist down, he's actually fairly plain. He's got color-coded knee pads and these anklet things, but otherwise he's a little bit plain Jane from the waist down, and I think that's really one of the draws of both the Kuuga aesthetic and the Agito aesthetic. Posability-wise, Kuuga is very akin to Black and Black RX in that he's kind of like the Heisei equivalent of a base body as far as Figuarts goes. Granted, there's a lot more detail on this guy, but nothing really gets in the way, and especially from the waist down, his detail is very understated and subtle. And I think that's kind of why I'd say if you really want to get a basic Figuart and you don't like the look of Black or Black RX, then Kuuga is the way to go. Nothing is hindered here. He's got the quote-unquote Type 2 hips, so that means he doesn't have ball-jointed ankles, but, you know, again, double swivel action is pretty cool, too. And everything else is great, and the thing I was curious about was whether or not Kuuga's breastplate would get in the way of things, but as you can see, he can totally rock some hula hoops, no questions asked. Now, Kuuga Mighty Form has no weapons. He's a fist fighter. I guess in a foot fighter, in a way. But he's got a fairly good plethora of accessories, and in this way, he has kind of outdone his, I guess, successor, Agito Ground Form. Yeah, no. Aside from the fists currently on his wrists, he's got some really cool, kind of kung fu-ish, I'm doing a pose that isn't totally manic and rage-enhanced hands going on here, but then at the same time, his other open hands are totally rageful, right down to some curled knuckles. And then, oddly enough, he has holding things hands, which can double as some sort of calm, halfways open hands. So if you do have a classic Kuuga Sochak Henshin motorcycle, this one can probably ride it quite easily on his own. And finally, we've got the hand for his signature pose. It's, this one is totally Godai. It's the thumbs up hand. Or if you want to be a badass, you can twist it around and make it thumbs down. Kuuga Mighty Form is, as you can see, he's a pretty simple release, a pretty subtle release, but he's still got a lot of accessories in the form of, what is that, a total of 4 pairs of hands and then another hand? So this is a guy where you are not getting screwed at all on the accessory count. You are getting your money's worth with Kuuga Mighty Form. And really the only knock against him would be that he has no weapons, and if you really need your Kamen Riders to have, like, sticks or swords or guns or whatever, then you will be a little bit disappointed, because that's not what this guy is all about. This guy's all about some classic, you know, Ichigo-style Cho Henshin, and then moving out of that, you know, some badass Kuuga rider kick stuff. There is one little problem here, which is that there's no Kuuga insignia on the bottom of his boot, and I kind of thought there would be, but then again, I'm not sure if there is in the show design, so I might be off base there. But regardless, Kuga Mighty Form is an extremely well done figure art, one of my favorites of the line. Granted, I like Kuga a lot, design-wise, so I have a little bit of bias there, but I can tell you that if you are looking to pick up a figure art, and you can find Kuga Mighty Form, and you want something that's not too retro, but not too over-detailed like some other riders are nowadays, then Kuga is a cool guy. So go for it. There's nothing I can really say as a reason to not go for this iteration of Kuga. If you do pick this guy up, though, there is a bit of a danger, because there are a lot of Kugas out there. A lot of Kugas, and there are more on the way. As of the recording of this video, I believe that a day ago, it was announced that Kuga's growing form will be a Tamashii Web exclusive. And Kuga has already had 2 forms as exclusives, both Tamashii Web and Tamashii Features. But if you can avoid that slippery slope and not fall down the rabbit hole quite as hard as I have, or if you've got the personal finances to deal with falling down the rabbit's hole, then I'd say Kuga is an excellent figure art to invest in. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelis, and as is the theme for today, the final day of this Rider Fig Arts week, prepare to Chōhenshin through at least 3 more Kuga reviews.